Hi, my name is Carson, and I'm here to talk about the history of juggling. The oldest known deposition was found in the Beni Hassen tombs of the Middle Kingdom of the ancient Egyptian civilization. During the Middle Ages, jugglers were looked down upon by churches, so they would only perform in marketplaces, streets, fairs, or drinking houses. Eventually, kings began to find men who could entertain them, become known as jesters or court jesters. Many jesters used juggling to entertain their audiences. In 1768, jugglers first appeared as top acts in circuses when Philip Passy hired jugglers to perform with his troops in England. In 1793, jugglers arrived in the circus of the United States. Later, jugglers often provided entertainment in the theater during set changes and intermissions. A game played for juggling was in which two girls or boys throw and catch a ball while being carried on the backs of others. If the player dropped the ball in this game, they became the barrier. The word juggling actually comes from the Middle English word jogglin, which means to perform or entertain. Another variation is the French word joggler, which means to joke or jest. Juggling has many benefits. It develops concentration, hand-eye coordination, and patience. When heavier balls are used, juggling can help to improve upper body strength and agility. And here's what you can do with it. And again, my name is Carson, and that concludes my presentation on the history of juggling.
Hi, my name is Tessa, and my driving question was, what are the characteristics of goats? How are goats useful to us? In the old days, goats were just used for their milk and the meat and the fur. But after they would have kids, they would get killed and eat them. Speaking of goats, my uncle has a goat. It runs around the house but when it goes to sleep, it sleeps on a dog crate. Goats can't bite. Goats can't bite even unless you are being silly and stick your finger in the back of the goat. They only have gums in the front. But that is even rare. Mostly they will peg you with their horns. And if they scale or they jump, or they just keep going with life. But there's a certain kind of goat that faints a lot, called the monotonic goat, known as the fainting goat. Here's a video to show. As you see, the goats trying to get up and stay up. They couldn't. So, goats can put on a show. They can make you laugh your guts out. Sometimes when they fall and stuff, it's hilarious. Or when they try to nibble on your hand, sometimes they love to cuddle, but mostly be goofy. Here's another video of a regular goat. You see that one's looking at something ready to go. The second one is a kangaroo goat. They can be cute most of the time, and the colors are, they will be white or black at the most, and very playful. Last but not least, the cutest they can be is a pygmy goat. They are cute as can be to me. They can be brown and white or black and white, as you see. Thank you for listening to me. Did I change your mind about goats?
Hi, my name is Brooklyn, and this is my guiding question. What is the history of orcas and what are their characteristics? Orcas feed on seabirds, squids, sea turtles, sharks, and rays. Orcas are often called killer whales, though they don't typically eat humans. They just call them that because they can take down large marine animals. How the orca sleeps. The orca sleeps while one half catches up on the sleep while the other part does the breathing. While extremely rare, orcas have been spotted in British Columbia. All orcas have a white patch under their eyes, another underbelly, and a light colored saddle patch behind their dorsal fin. Adult male orcas are larger than female orcas. They need to eat 3 to 4% of their body weight a day to be strong. A baby orca is called a calf, which are about 8.5 to 2.6 meters long and 265 pounds. Orcas are social animals. They stay with their pods and love their families. What are some dangers to orca whales? Humans are a huge threat to orcas because of the chemicals we put in the ocean, like pollution. These can hurt the animals, especially orcas, because they get diseases. Food shortages. Food shortages are caused when we overfish. It causes animals not to get much food. Live capture. When we take whales to SeaWorld, it can hurt them inside.
Off Chatham Bay, Costa Rica, a pod of killer whales dramatically hunt and take down a tiger shark. Possibly the first time this has been caught on camera. Got the whales again, and they're in pursuit of the tiger shark. Working together, the orcas swim repeatedly around and below the shark, trapping it against the surface. And as the camera submerges, the shark can be seen in the whale's mouth.
This is another video of how the orca can be friendly.
Hi, I'm Meredith. My driving question is how to become a beekeeper. Why I wanted to become a beekeeper is my parents got into it and I wanted to learn more about it. Make sure you can regularly monitor your hive. You need to check your local authorities to make sure you can keep beehives. Next, talk to your neighbors to see if they are okay with it. Before you get your beehive, you might want to join a local beekeeper association. Here's a picture with me with the president. We went last Thursday because I have one every month. If you ask 10 different beekeepers, you'll get 10 different answers. Each beekeeper has their own way of doing things. Then you will want to get your bees. People at the local beekeeping association catch swarms and they will be glad to lend you a hive. You want your bees to be strong so they can fight off beetles, so put them in the sun. There are 2 different kinds of beetle traps. There's the one where you put the oil in it so they'll drown, or the one with the cloth at the very bottom and they'll stick to it. The cloths are less messier, and those are the ones those are the ones we use. And then when you first get your bees, you want to feed them sugar water so they can kind of like thrive. And then here's some things you'll want to take into consideration. Are you afraid of being stung? The question is not if you get stung, it's when you get stung. I haven't gotten stung yet, so we have an EpiPen in case I have an allergic reaction. And my dad has been stung with the suit on because the veil was pressing up against his chin, and it came and stung him through the chin. Can you lift 25 pounds? Sometimes all the honey combined together can weigh up to 25 pounds or more. Fun facts. A single bee can produce 1.5 teaspoons in their life. Remember, there are tens of thousands of bees in the hive. A queen can lay up to 25,000 eggs in a day. Honey will never spoil. It may crystallize. If so, you just put it in the microwave and it'll uncrystallize. Bees are not born to know how to make honey. They are taught by the older bees. Honey is 25% sweeter than sugar. There are several different kinds of bees. In ancient Egypt, they paid their taxes with honey. A queen bee will survive after she stings someone or something. Worker bees are females. Male bees usually don't make it through the winter. Male bees are called drones. Female bees are the only ones with stingers.
You can video, that's the front, that's where they go in and out.
Okay.
So this, you say this part, and this part, that's where they lay the bee eggs, and these 2 upper parts is where the bees put the honey. Okay? This is a smoker. This is a tool that I use to open up the hive. The smoke, it makes the bees eat honey. Kind of calms them down. But the bees are in and out today. I'm gonna open up the hive, okay?
Okay.
You can see there's a few bees here at the top. I'm gonna take off the inner cover here. So there is a little bit of honeycomb. It's not actual, it doesn't have honey on it. But you can see,
Back to the top.
yeah, that's where they put it. This is the comb. The bees make the comb. That's called drawing out the comb. And then they're gonna put the honey in those little cells right there.
My name is Jackson, and my genius hour question is, how has cars from 1970 through today evolved in comparison and performance? In 1970, the American automobile industry was under threat from several angles. Failing sales, 57-day strike at General Motors, idealing around 347,000 workers, and higher quality foreign cars were primary culprits. If you love speed, then the 1960s through 70s was a great time to be alive. This era of power created some of the rarest muscle cars, packing giant torque-rich V8s. Emissions and other regulations retained muscle cars in the 80s. But these aging beasts of the road still come with surprising stories, as well as some surprising horsepower. Muscle cars in the early 1970s, like the Challenger, Cuda, and Corvette, were unbelievably great, but sports cars were overtaking the mainstream by the combat car because all makers were having an impossible time keeping the power and getting rid of the smoke. Baldwin Motion was the first Corvette tuner, and the machines that company created were legendary. Baldwin Chevrolet, a dealer in Baldwin, New York, would deliver new Corvettes to Jowl Rosen Motion Performance Speed Shop down the road for modifications. Motion would build these serial production specialty Corvettes to order. It was Rosen's dream in late 1968 to build a new, fast and functional all-American GT sports car. The lavishly styled Phase 3 GT was a stunner. It had a unique fastback rear window, a performance suspension, as much as 600 dyno-tuned horsepower from either 427 SID or 454 SID big block V8s. In the rarest cars of the 70s were a 1970 Plymouth Hemi Superbird. There was only 135 produced. Then 1970 through 71 Plymouth Hemi Cuda convertible.
Hi, I'm Sabrina, and my driving question was, how does the vacuum work, and what's the history of it? I chose this topic because I thought it was interesting to see what's inside of the vacuum. The first vacuum was invented by Herbert Booth, a British engineer who invented the first working vacuum and other stuff. How the vacuum is designed. The dust goes through the rotating brush, then to the fan that is connected to the motor, then through the tube that is also connected to the motor, then through the filter into the dust bag to the export, then to the top of the dust bag.
Differ in appearance from model to model. They operate on similar principles. When the start switch is actuated, 120 volts of alternating current is sent to the motor, which drives the suction fan and the brush roll, if applicable. When the motor is running, an area of low pressure behind the fan creates the suction needed to draw air through the intake port. The air carries dirt, dust, and debris through a hose and into a porous bag or a canister before the clean air exits through the exhaust port. Vacuum cleaner bags must allow air, but not debris, to pass through to function properly. Bagless vacuum cleaner canisters use a particulate filter to allow air to travel through the system while trapping large particles of dirt and debris.
This is a visual of the timeline from the first vacuum to the new robotic vacuum.
Dyson vacuums are they improved the old vacuums to being very, very technical. And they are now coming up with the vacuum that moves on your own with the iVacuum cleaner. Rainbow vacuums. They produce moisture, clean air. They clean the air basically. It is a water machine, but it still is a vacuum.
I'm here with Miss Lacey. First question I'm going to ask you is do they really produce non-toxic air pollution?
Yes, they do. We use water instead of a dry system vacuum that uses filters. When dirt gets sucked up in a dry system vacuum, the fine particles will get thrown back into the air and you're using that. Where we use water and when dirt gets wet, it doesn't fly. You know how when you drive down a backwoods trail on a wet day or on a dry day, you know how the dirt goes everywhere? Well, on a wet day, it just doesn't go anywhere, right? That's what we use water for. So you're not breathing in any of the harmful dirt, dust, everything you've been vacuuming up.
Hi, my name is Emily, and my driving question was, what is sarcoma and can it be cured? The reason why I chose this topic was because my cousin is suffering from cancer and wanted to learn more about it. What is sarcoma? Sarcoma is a very rare type of cancer. Sarcomas are different from the one common carcinomas because they happen in a different type of tissue. Sarcomas grows in a connective type of tissue cells that connect/support other tissues in our bodies. The tumors are mainly common in our bones, muscles, tendons, cartilage, nerves, fat, and blood vessels of our arms and legs. It can also happen in other areas in our bodies. Although there are 50 types of sarcomas, they are grouped into two different kinds, which are soft tissue sarcoma and bone cancers. Who discovered sarcoma and when was it discovered? In 1911, Peyton Rouse made a startling discovery that a virus could cause cancer. A farmer brought him a hen with a large lump in her breast. Rouse, a pathologist, diagnosed the lump as a sarcoma, a tumor of cells in the connective tissue. He first tested whether the tumor could be transplanted into chickens closely related to the original one. It could, and each time the tumor was transplanted, it became more aggressive and harmful. To find out whether an infectious agent caused the cancer, Rouse prepared an extract. He cut a sample of the tumor tissue in saline solution and passed it through a filter to eliminate bacteria and tumor cells. Then he injected the extract into healthy chickens. Contrary to his expectations, it produced new tumors. Sarcoma curable. Well, there are many types of sarcoma cancers, but the most unusual one is very rare to get cured from. This type of sarcoma is called sarcoma cancer stage 4. But some patients may be cured if the main tumor in all of the areas of cancer spread can be removed by surgery. The Bex's stage rate is when it has spread only to the lungs. Those patients' main tumor should be treated as in stages 2 or 3, and metastasis should be completely removed if possible. This is still an area where doctors disagree about the best treatment is and which patients will benefit. For patients whose primary tumor and all metastasis cannot be completely removed by surgery, radiation therapy, and/or chemotherapy are often used to relieve symptoms.
Pathology report's not back, so that just snowballed into everything and confusion and all sorts of scary stuff for a 13-year-old. Ewing sarcoma in the back of my left knee. I finally met with who was to become my main oncologist, and he sort of explained everything. He said, tomorrow you'll have surgery to put the port in to help your chemo, and Friday you'll start chemo, and every 3 weeks, chemotherapy. They're amazing. The Child Life staff they do everything they can to make you feel comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. It's kind of one of those things where you can't even put words into it, how welcome they make you feel. They tell us everything, but in ways that we understood it. It wasn't doctor gibberish. One lady brought me cross-stitching, and during my Christmas day. That's what I did. She sat down and did that with me, and I said I was such a nerd for doing that at age 14, but they figure out you and how you tick and what you like. I had a huge surgery on my leg, and it left me immobile for a good 3 or 4 months, and I felt helpless. I felt as if I couldn't do anything by myself. I was getting older, and my little sister was doing everything for me. So when I started walking again, when I started getting back into the school routine a little bit, starting to feel like a normal teenager was when it finally started clicking, like, yeah, I am going to be better. I'm going to get through this, and it's going to be fine. After being bald for a year, you don't have to have hair to make you feel pretty about yourself. You have a huge scar on the back of your left leg, but it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. I can't thank the nurses enough. I can't thank the doctors enough for what they did for me. I'm here because of them.
My cousin Eric was diagnosed with cancer a few months ago, and he is being treated in MD Anderson Hospital in Houston. The doctors don't know yet what type of sarcoma he has, but we are praying to God he gets cured and gets better. My shirt I'm wearing today was a fundraiser to help with his medication expenses. And that concludes my presentation.
Hi, my name is Lexi. My topic is parvo, and my driving question is, what is parvo and how can it be prevented? I chose this topic because last year 2 of my grandparents' dogs died of parvo. The first one got it from a stray dog and spread it to the other one. What is parvo? Parvo is a very common and deadly disease that your dog can get very easily because it's extremely contagious. Symptoms. They start showing symptoms 3 to 10 days, and the symptoms are usually severe. That includes bloody diarrhea, loss of appetite or won't eat. Fever is another symptom of parvo. Fevers are usually extremely high, and they will vomit a lot. And since they will not be eating, they'll have rapid weight loss. You will need to be giving your dog a lot of fluids, and you might have to give it through a syringe. It can kill your dog in less than 72 hours, and dogs of any age can get parvo. Parvo was discovered in the 1970s. And that concludes my presentation.
Which is the background. And then here's my iMovie I made. Their temperament. The Australian Shepherd has a great deal of stamina and is loving, bold, alert, confident, independent, smart, and responsive. If it doesn't get the chance to exercise and challenge its strongly developed mental and physical activities, it is apparent to become frustrated and get difficult to live with. But with proper exercise and training, it is loyal, utterly devoted, and an obedient companion. Their coat. Their hair is of medium texture, straight and wavy, weather-resistant, and of medium length. The undercoat varies in quantity with variations in climate. Their hair is short and smooth on the head, ear, front forelegs, and below the hocks. Their body. Their back is straight and strong, level and firm from withers to hip joints. Their coat is moderately sloped. Their chest is not broad and is deep with the lowest point reaching the elbow. Now here's a video I found for you to watch.
Australian Shepherd. The Australian Shepherd, or the Aussie, is a furry, medium-sized breed of dog used mainly for herding on ranches. You'd be surprised to know that despite its name, this hardy, versatile breed actually developed in the U.S. There are multiple theories related to its origins, but it is generally accepted that it came to the west coast of the U.S. via Australia. Basque settlers might have taken it to Australia, in turn, from Spain. Crossing with local breeds and selection for working ability helped the breed adapt to the rugged terrain it found in the U.S. Its popularity surged in the 1950s after it was featured in Disney films.
Hi, my name is Macy and I'm doing the history of Fortnite. Unless you've been living under a rock, you definitely have heard the word Fortnite. Fortnite is a video game known as an open-world survival game in which players collect resources, make tools and weapons, and try to stay alive as long as possible. And it even features some pretty cool dance moves like that one. How much money does Fortnite make? Fortnite makes up to $126 million per month or $2.4 billion a year.
Holy.
Who made Fortnite? Tim Sweeney is the creator of Fortnite, and like many of us gamers, he was obsessed with video games. He began programming at the age of 11 and now is the CEO of Epic Games Company. When was Fortnite released? Fortnite was released July 25th, 2017. It became available for early access on Windows, Mac, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4 for those who pre-ordered the game on July 21st, 2017 and on July 25th, 2017. For those who did not pre-order, Battle Royale was released free-to-play on September 26th, 2017. How do you play Fortnite? First, you make an account, then you either pick solos, duos, or squads, and then you ready up, and then you get on the battle bus. Fourth, you land on the ground and find a location to get guns, ammo, and shield. And if you see somebody, aim and shoot. If they shoot back, then build, then eliminate them. How many people play Fortnite? In August 2017, there were 1 million people playing Fortnite. In December 2017, there were 30 million people playing Fortnite. In January 2018, there were 45 million people playing Fortnite. In June 2018, there were 125 million people playing Fortnite. And today, there are up to 250 million people playing the game. Here's my video.
My name is Matthew. My urban question is, what does the CIA do? This topic interests me because I would love to be a part of the CIA one day. The CIA use a lot of technology. They make $81,623 a year. The CIA headquarters is located in Langley, Virginia, McLean, Virginia. Central Intelligence Agency is what it stands for. The CIA mission is to evaluate and disseminate. The CIA use dogs. They use canines, German Shepherds. The CIA carry guns. They carry Glocks, AK-47s, and ARs. They also put lasers, flashlights, suppressors, and magazines. What do I think about the CIA? They can see other people's devices. They use a lot of technology. The CIA can hack some devices with hacking tools. They can see what we do on our devices listening and can see you through your camera. The CIA secure Washington, D.C. and the White House. Who started the CIA was Harry S. Truman. President Harry Truman created CIG, Central Intelligence Group. So in 1947, President Truman created CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. You must be a U.S. citizen and you must be younger than 35. And your marriage and your spouse must be a U.S. citizen. You cannot work for the CIA if you are not a U.S. citizen. The CIA mainly arrests non-U.S. citizens. Is there a CIA in Texas? Yes, there is on Summer Lake in Dr. Houston, Texas.
Here we go. In 1999,
the CIA compound was renamed the George Bush Center for Intelligence after our 41st president. As you can see, the campus is secure and secluded, but we're only a few miles away from Washington, D.C. and the policymakers we serve. This is our original headquarters building. It was built in 1959. And that's our auditorium. We call it the Bubble. I definitely feel like a big dog on campus walking across the agency's seal. It's been in the movies, but it's even better in person. Before CIA was created in 1947, there was the Office of Strategic Services, or OSS. OSS lasted from 1942 to 1945. This memorial honors the 116 officers who died while serving our country.
Hello, my name is Lizzie, and my junior sour question is, what are the characteristics of the giant panda? I asked this question because they are one of my favorite animals, and there's so much we don't know about them. The panda's body type. The giant panda has a bear-like shape. The weight of a female panda can be about 150 to 220 pounds. The weight of a male panda can be about 220 to 250 pounds. The height of the panda can be up to 5.25 to 6 feet tall. The shoulder height of the giant panda can be 2 to 3 feet tall. Their thick black and white fur equip them for life in cool forests. Their white coat with black markings is unique, with black markings or black patches around their eyes, ears, black legs, and black band around their shoulders, and small little white tail. Pandas' teeth. Like humans, pandas have 2 sets of teeth, meaning when they lose one, another one will come in. Giant pandas have 42 teeth, including the second group of teeth. Pandas have large molars, flat teeth, used for crushing food like bamboo. They also have sharp teeth they use to bite through tough bamboo stalks. They have straw jaw muscles, which they use for chewing tough bamboo.
Hi, my name is Carly, and my driving question is, what are the characteristics of hedgehogs and do they make good pets? The reason I was interested in this topic is because I have a hedgehog and I wanted to learn more about it. Their lifespan is 4 to 7 years. They're exotic animals, so they have to have exotic vets. They can't go to any ordinary vet. Usually exotic vets specialize in snakes, bunnies, ferrets, birds, and other animals. There are no exotic vets in Longview, but there is one in Tyler called Hawkins Pet and Exotic Animal Clinic. They cost $75 to $300, not including the cage, the food, the toys, the bedding, and everything you have to get. The charge for a checkup is $54. It's up to $54 depending on the vet that you go to. The charge for an appointment is $108 to $160. So if you have one, you will be spending a lot of money and time on them. There are 4 types. Albino. They live in Britain, and you don't see them often. Desert, which is right there. They live in Africa and in the Middle East. This type of species is one of the smallest hedgehogs, only reaching between 6 to 11 inches long. Baby hedgehogs are called hoglets. They give birth in June and July. They have an average litter size of 4 or 5 young. However, only usually 3 or 4 make it successfully because they are very small animals. Hedgehogs will eat their babies only if they feel that their environment isn't safe. Like if there is a predator coming, they will eat their babies to make sure that they have protection, so the predator does not get the nutrients from the babies because they can't protect themselves, but the mom can. If she does eat her babies, try again in 3 months. If she keeps eating her babies, maybe she's not right for motherhood.
And you only want to put like 1 or 2 inches of water in there. But if you have a sink that's big enough, you don't really have to use a bucket. Just my hedgehog can easily crawl out of my sink, so that's why I use a bucket. And keep adjusting the water so it's not too hot or too cold. Now you can go ahead and lay down your towel and your bucket of water. So now you can go ahead and wake up your hedgehog. Now I would suggest that you let your hedgehog run around its cage.
They have to have little room temperature or room temperature water as shown in the video, or they can go into hibernation and get pneumonia from being too cold. And their defense is when a predator comes or something, they'll roll up into a ball, and so their spikes, so where their belly isn't, where the predator can't get under them, flip them over and their belly be there, so if they flip them over, they will roll into a ball, so the only thing that they can see is the spines. Like this. They'll roll into a ball. To where the predator can't get to their stomach because their stomach is the only soft part of them.
Hello, my name is Dakota. My driving question is, what are some characteristics of wolves? In my research, I learned a lot of fun facts that I will be sharing with you today. This topic interested me because I actually had a wolf named Shiva, double eyes, and loved it immensely. I hope to share some of that iteration of wolves with you today. Hey, did you know a large wolf can put a bite force of over 1,200 pounds? Wow, talk about a guard dog. Also, there are some species of wolf called gray, red, Arctic, dire, maned, and maybe some we haven't even discovered yet. Wolves hunt deer, mountain goat, moose, and bison. Sounds delicious, right? Half or the world, or maybe all the world, as far as I know, doesn't know how they just come to exist. Ghost from Lord of the Rings is a dire wolf, and I heard, based on my research, I learned that dire wolf's bite is 130% stronger than any other wolf, except for maybe the gray wolf. Wolves are the absolute coolest animal in my opinion. They are the embodiment of majestic and, of course, epic. You have to have a license to own one because, I learned from experience because I did. To me, wolves and dogs are my absolute favorite animal. This video I created to recap some of the stuff I said from earlier, and I hope you will enjoy it. That was the first page, actually.
Hi, my name is Jackson, and my driving question is, what are the requirements to be a cardiologist? I chose this driving question because I want to be a cardiologist when I grow up. Cardiologists treat patients who suffer from heart attack or heart failure. Cardiologists do not perform open heart surgery, but they do perform interventions through the femoral artery and the leg, which leads to the heart. So they start right here about, and then they go through the arteries all the way to the heart. Cardiologists work for more than 65 hours per week, and the average salary for a cardiologist would be $335,000 to $500,000 a year, which is almost $500,000 a year, which is a lot of money. And a normal week is about 40 hours. If you work 8 hours a week for 5 days, weekdays, that'd be about 40 hours. But they work 25 plus more hours, so that is a lot more than regular. To actually become a cardiologist, it takes about 3 years of internal medicine training, 4 years of medical school, and an additional 3 more years of specialized training. And specialized training is where you actually start to meet the cardiologist and start to perform interventions with them and learn the actual process that they do. If you're a cardiologist for several years and planning to retire, but you don't spend your money that much and you save your money, you could possibly be a millionaire. And I mean, a lot of people's dream is to be a millionaire, I think. At least it's my dream. And then here, now that I've talked about the job cardiologist, I'm gonna talk about cardiology, which is facts about the heart. The average heart is the size of a fist of an adult. So if Miss Ledoux were to done this, that's the average size of your heart. And then my little sister's heart, my 10-month-old little sister's heart is about the size of her fist, because you don't have the same size of heart when you're born, and so she needs oxygen and blood to grow the heart. Your heart beats at approximately 115,000 times a day, and you wouldn't really think that because it's not something that you would really want to know, but it's a lot of times. Your heart pumps about 2,000 gallons of blood each day. There are 4 chambers in the heart pumping oxygen and blood into each one. And then cardiologists work a lot of time in the cath lab. And these are pictures that my dad printed on a real patient in the cath lab. So right here, I know it's hard to see, but this is your artery, and then the blockage is that small little part, which is plaque building up in the artery, which is what can cause heart failure and a heart attack, and you can't breathe that good. And then right here is the balloon, which is what I have right here. And I know it's not the actual balloon that you would think of, like one that you have at birthday parties. And I need a volunteer to hold this right here. Brady. All you have to do is hold right there. But this right here is the balloon that's inflating. And then whenever you expand it so that they can breathe and you prevent a heart attack or heart failure, you just have to pull it back and then it'll start deflating whenever you're done with the procedure. And that concludes my presentation of the cardiologist.
Hello, my name is Jacob. My driving question is, what are the different types of volcanoes and can I build my own model to rep for my classmates? There are 3 different types of volcanoes. Number 1 is cinder cone. Number 2 is shore volcanoes. And number 3 is composite volcanoes. Here are some amazing facts about volcanoes. A volcano is a rupture in the ground. These ruptures can cause many hazards to people, such as the volcano's crust has 17 major rigid tectonic plates. Italy's volcano is the most dangerous volcano. And now for the video.
Collective imagination. Krakatoa, Mount St. Helens, Etna, Eyjafjallajökull. The images simultaneously strike fear and awe in our hearts. But how did these giant mountains form, and where does all that destructive force come from? At least 50 eruptions rock the Earth each year, meaning our planet is literally bursting apart at the seams. The Earth's crust is made up of about 17 slabs of land called tectonic plates that float on the superheated magma that makes up most of the planet's interior. Magma is the Earth's lifeblood, churning restlessly beneath the crust. And wherever it can, it's trying to burst through. It's at these spots that volcanoes form. Our planet is home to some 500 active volcanoes. While some volcanoes, like those in Hawaii, break through a thin point in the crust called a hotspot, the vast majority of volcanoes occur on active fault lines where tectonic plates meet. The most volatile region is the Ring of Fire, a geological fault belt that rims the Pacific Ocean and holds roughly 75% of all the Earth's volcanoes. Typically, volcanoes take one of two forms. Shield volcanoes, wide and broad with lava usually slowly oozing out of them, and composite or stratovolcanoes, steeper and more violent. When hot liquid magma reaches the surface, whether in a slithering flow or a booming eruption, we call it lava. Though molten lava may seem threatening, it's not known to move quickly. A volcano's pyroclastic flow is far more deadly. This poisonous ash cloud can race down the slope of a volcano like a bullet train, obliterating everything in its path at speeds topping 100 miles per hour.
Hi, my name is Scotty, and this is my presentation. My driving question is, what does it take to make it to the NBA? The mindset you must have to make it far in your career is that you can't give up. You can't have any doubt whatsoever and that anything is possible. The physical part is only 55.5% of the game. College level. College level basketball is the second step to the NBA. The first is high school. If you want to make it to the NBA, you will have to play for a college that NBA scouts will notice you. Many people don't make it because they play for a college that is very small and nobody notices. The training is very hardcore in college. And this is a video over how hardcore the training is.
PC. We got Kansas working today. We got Iowa State working today. We got UT working today. Kansas State working today. Are you out working them? Are you out working them? Yes, sir. Right, that's what I want to see today. We're going to get a break, 1 minute, get a drink. Let's go. Keep pushing yourself. Keep pushing yourself. 1, 2, 3. Hey, you know what you've been telling me? Hey, coach, I want to be a pro. I the pros act. NBA draft, we saw dreams come true. You put in the work, you will get rewarded. I promise you. Let's reach some more winners. Let's hoop.
If you have great work ethic, it will lead to you becoming a very good NBA player. Players like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, or LeBron James have great work ethic. Alright, now let's play NBA. Who is that NBA player? Boys versus girls. If you can name it, raise your hand. Alright, boys first.
LeBron James.
Yep, that's right. One for the boys. Alright, next one. Who is this NBA player? This will do.
None other than Air Jordan, Michael Jordan.
Yep. One for the girls. Who is this NBA player? Bonus points for whoever can name his actual first name. Nope.
Stephen?
Nope.
Stephen?
Nope. Scott! No. His actual first name is Wardell.
Yeah, I've never got that.
No. Yep.
Governor.
Yep. Yep, and the boys win this game. Alright, this concludes my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed. Hello, my name is Gabby, and I will be talking about anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism is like personification, but for animals. Like if an animal's anthropomorphic, it will be like walking and talking like a human, just like a furry is. If you want to make a character anthro, of course you're going to have your own animal. That's what the papers are for. And first of all, you're going to need a character. You're going to need an animal, so choose your favorite animal or one that describes you by your personality. Like as wolves, they are strong, intelligent, speed, athletic, and built for speed. And tigers, they kind of rule everything. So I created one of my characters, and I actually made a head out of it. And this, I named this one TK because its whole name was Tiger Shark, or TK Surly. And I can actually put this on, it's adorable. I love it. So let's start by making our own characters. Does everyone know what their favorite animal is? Yes. You can draw it, and you have 1 minute to draw your character. Now that you got your animal, you're going to need to follow these 4 steps. Now after you chose your animal, now it's time to decide if you want it to be based off of you or another character or something. You can choose anything you want, like you can choose a movie or, I don't know, just anything. I actually made this blue shark character that I made because I like Minecraft and I like Tiger Shark, so I put those together. Then you wouldn't really want a backstory unless it's yours, but you can still put that. You can give your character a story or anything that you want with it. Now you're done, Fundo. Now you're done.
To be explaining what a furry is. To all of you that don't know what a furry is. Now I know most of my viewers are already furry, so this won't be of any use to you guys, but this is for those of you who just want to know about it and what it really is. The main definition of a furry is a fan of anthropomorphic animals. Now if you don't know what anthropomorphic is, it's basically an animal with human characteristics. Some of these may include animals that walk and talk, such as Nick Wilde, of course, of Zootopia, or Robin Hood of the old Disney movie. These are perfect examples of anthro-animals. There are lots of different definitions of anthropomorphic animals, but the main definition is walking and talking like a human, but looking like an animal.
Progeria, also known as Hutchinson Gopher Progeria system, HGPS, is a rare genetic condition that causes a child's body to age fast. Most kids with progeria don't live past the age 13. It's very sad. The disease affects both sexes and all races equally. It affects about 1 in 4 million births worldwide. Progeria is inherited or passed down in families. Most kids with progeria look healthy when they're first born, but show signs within their first year. Some symptoms include hair loss, high-pitched voice, loss of body fat and muscles, noticeable veins, and a unique-looking face. As children with progeria get older, they easily get diseases you would expect to see in a 50-year-old. These diseases include bone loss, hardening of the arteries, and heart diseases. A lot of times, children with progeria die of a heart attack or stroke. Progeria doesn't affect a child's intelligence or brain development. At this time, there's no cure for progeria, although researchers are working very hard to find one.
a type of drug for cancer, FTIs, farnesyl transferase inhibitors, may be able to fix the damaged cells. These treatments usually help ease some of the symptoms. Progeria's effects are very noticeable, so if a child has progeria, the pediatrician will most likely spot it during the checkup. Some kids with progeria have to get coronary bypass surgery or angioplasty to slow the progression of a heart disease. A single gene mutation is responsible for progeria. The gene is known as lamin A. When this gene has a defect, an abnormal form of lamin A called progerin is produced and makes the cells unstable. Here's a video about a girl named Adalia Rose who has progeria.
And my mom was just like, it's fine. Just do what you're gonna do and just move on with it. Because you don't need to be sad when somebody's being mean to you. You just gotta move on and be like, it's fine. It's fine. They're just bullies. They just get jealous because you're famous and you're awesome than them. So, yeah, I just go, whatever.
Even though someone may have had progeria, they are still beautiful and should be treated the same. I've watched a lot of videos and seen a lot of pictures. People with progeria always have a smile on their face. This shows that whatever you're going through, you can still be happy.
Hi, my name is Vivian, and I chose what are some good characteristics of friends. Please have your Chromebooks with you closed. Trust, absolute confidence. I know if I can share something with them. They aren't liars, but rather give me honest and loving feedback, never seeking to mislead me. They're non-judgmental. They aren't judgy, but rather my defenders and allies. What do you think when I say this?
Friends.
Yeah. These are some things that show you have a good friend. Without friends, you go through life alone. You're probably a good friend if you've known them all your life, like my friend Olivia. This is Olivia. We met right before my 5th birthday party at church, and this was taken at my 6th birthday party. If you have a loyal friend, your relationship might look a lot like Harry Potter's and Ron Weasley's. Now, I know they are fictional, but they are a great example of friendship. They first meet in a trolley, then save Hermione from a troll. They fight a basilisk, Voldemort, and Dementors. And yes, they get into a fight, and Ron runs away, but who doesn't get in a fight every once in a while? Friends are always there for you. Now I will play a video that I made. Now I need 2 volunteers from the audience. Addison and Gianna. Yes. Okay, I just need Addison first though. Oh. So you're just gonna read what I have right now here, okay? I have a secret to tell you. Okay. Let's wear something good in your ear.
Oh, okay.
And you go sit right down. That was an example of what a good friend would do. And Gianna, please come. This is an example of what a bad friend would do. No offense or anything, but no. I have a secret to tell you.
Oh, okay, tell me. Okay.
Triboard I made. And this is, it's gonna be kind of hard to see, but that's okay. This is me, Olivia, and Elizabeth. I've known Olivia for as long as I can remember because I can't remember that far back, you know. And I just met Elizabeth last summer at VBS, which stands for Vacation Bible School, and that was taken at Vacation Bible School. And then this is a picture of me and my friend Kendall. I've known her since probably 1st or 2nd grade, and this was taken in the hallways. And then this is my me and my sisters on a family picture day. That's me, Lila, and Charlotte. Charlotte was just a little newborn baby in that. And I like to think of me and my sisters, we have like a friendship, like sisterly type love thing. So that's why I added them on here. And now if you would please open up your Chromebooks and go to Kahoots.
Hi, my name is Karen, and my driving question is, what does it take to train a guide dog? I chose this topic because I really wanted to know more about the process it takes to train them. For about 2 to 3 months, the dogs are caught by our professional guide dog mobility instructors to safely guide someone through the complexities of pedestrian travel. The total cost is $10 per day to breed, train, and care for a guide dog. Guide dogs never know their owners are blind. Puppy raisers generally receive their wards at about 8 weeks and then return them to the guide dog center at around 14 months for the formal training. The actual process to train a guide dog is between 3 to 9 months. After that, the training is finished. Then they return the dogs to a guide dog school for evaluation. Guide dogs instructors look for a certain number of qualities, such as ability to concentrate for extended period of time, intelligence, willingness to learn, attention to sound, good memory, and excellent health. Guide dogs are health tested to ensure that they are well bred and healthy and that they get in contact with knowledge breeders who have worked with guide dogs prospects. In 1916, people began teaching dogs the skills they needed to lead a blind person. Everyone always wonders if any dog can be a guide dog, but the answer to that is no. But here are some other breeds that can be a guide dog, such as German Shepherds, Labrador Retrievers, Golden Retrievers, Labradoodle, Boxer, Chesapeake, and Bay Retriever. And then here's a video of the process it takes to train a guide dog.
Once the dogs come back from the puppy raising program, we review over the puppy's history of being with the families. We look over their medical history, and then we start to develop our rapport with the dogs and start to do their training beginning with obedience.
They return to the Seeing Eye to begin 4 months of training with an instructor.
First week with a new dog here on campus, they get the dog used to working in harness. They're used to pulling out. Pulling is essential for a guide. They need to be able to pull someone so we can follow and really feel where the dog is going. So the instructors are working with the dog here in a fairly quiet and safe environment, teaching them to pull, getting them used to the harness. They review the obedience lessons that the puppies learned with their families and introduce a few more simple tasks. And then after that first week, they'll take the dog into town and start on very quiet, simple routes.
Each dog learns to stop at places like curbs, intersections, and stairs. This is necessary to assure safe travel.
We're seeing what the dog needs to work on. We're evaluating the dog's skills. It's just to see how they're doing with the rest of the dogs. We're seeing if they're stopping for curbs, if they're moving around objects. We're giving them slight traffic checks. Ideally, each trip or route will include some sort of destination.